Hi guys, it's Vivi at Home Writes. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the practice and theory tag. Stay tuned. Hi guys, so it's Vivi at Home Writes. Today's video is going to be another Authortube tag. So I'm going to jump right in. I'm doing the practice and theory Authortube tag, and the original video has been, I think, turned off on Authortube, but I will link the channel that it came from, and I'm going to probably add a couple links to some other Authortubers who have done it, so that way you guys can kind of see where the questions came from and how everybody else is answering them. So I'm going to jump right into the questions because it was kind of a fun one. The original tag questions are: number 1, how do you normally start writing a poem? And although I don't normally do real traditional poetry, I would say that I have been known to do poetry, to write poetry on occasion. As a child, often I would write a lot of like self-discovery poetry. And then when I started into this world of picture book writing, I've found that some of my stories have originated from like poem form. Especially my upcoming picture book, Just Won't Nap Jack, kind of came out like it had like a rhyme and a meter to it, which I've been reminded needs to be double checked to make sure. I know there's something about poems having a certain A-B combination for rhyming, and so a lot of the rules when you're writing picture books are, if you can't naturally get that rhyme in there, don't rhyme. And so unfortunately this picture book came to me in rhyme form, so there's that. But I have written poetry, like I said, feeling poetry, emotion poetry on occasion. So when I do write poetry, it usually just happens. It usually just pops into my head. I feel something, I write it down, it comes out in a stanza or a few stanzas, and that is that. I don't really do that for any commercial use or any type of, to put on my site or anything like that. I don't really, poetry is way more personal for me than the rest of my writing, so that just kind of stays stashed away. So number 2, how do you normally start writing short stories? I actually didn't realize when I was younger that short stories were kind of the way I was expressing myself for the longest time, until I was in college and I started taking creative writing college classes, where they would say, because of the nature of the college class, we weren't going to work on full-length novels. We were only allowed to work on short stories. And so often I would start a short story and it would turn into it would have lots of backstory and lots of this is going to be a novel format. And the teachers would be like, no, pare down. You can't overdo it. Just get to the point of the story. Short story. And so eventually I had to train my brain to work on shorter pieces. And once I did, I really enjoyed the idea of leaving things to the imagination. And so when I start working on something that I know for a fact is going to be a short story, I tend to just kind of start, not in the middle, but in a moment, and then I carry it until I'm done writing that moment. And if that moment goes on for a few pages, if it goes on for what would be considered a few chapters, then that's the short story that it is. Every once in a while I've tried to map out my short stories to be beginning, middle, end, full length, like short novellas or whatever, and I just get wrapped up in, ooh, this could be a full-length novel. So I trying really hard not to formulate my short stories. So number 3, how do you normally start writing a novel? Again, most of my ideas will turn into novel format if I think about them for too long. So when I'm writing a novel, I just kind of write down all my notes, I mind dump, I do a bunch of, ooh, that would be good, ooh, that would be good, ooh, that would be good. And sometimes I have to just cut myself off and start formulating everything into a, you know, a format of this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end. Sometimes I don't have the end, and that really frustrates me. Sometimes I have only the end and I have no beginning and no middle, and that's a major problem. So it just depends on what I have together and how fast I can get it together so I can sit down and actually write it before my inspiration runs away, because my inspiration is constantly fleeting, and that's a problem. So number 4, do you have a writing strategy? And again, it is about making sure that I've got all the parts in position so I can actually write, because often I will get distracted by something else really quickly. And then if I don't have everything in place, I can't return and remember what I was doing. I'll be like, ooh, that was a great idea, but I don't remember what it was. And then if I didn't have beginning, middle, and end, main characters, details, story ideas all in place, it's just another one in my journal that goes and sits on the shelf for 6 years, and if I write it, I write it. And that's been my major problem. So, do you compose on paper or on a computer? Over the course of the time that I've been writing, since I was very young, it's always been on paper. When I became an adult and I had funds of my own, I purchased a clamshell Apple MacBook on eBay, and that's when I first started really writing on computers. Before that, it had all been notebooks. I think I borrowed my boyfriend's computer once, who is now my husband, and I started writing in that, but it was, you know, it was right before the clamshell MacBook. Then I got my own Apple MacBook computer, like a real serious one, and I crashed it when my daughter was about 3 years old, my oldest daughter. And then I got another one, and I kept that one going pretty well, and that's the one I still have, which is why it kind of stays stationary on my desk, because it is so old and so overloaded, which is also why I have a hard time cutting videos and stuff, because I have to get it. I have an external drive now, I have an external keyboard and a new external new monitor that's actually an old TV screen, because I can't get this computer to do much else. I'm like grinding it out on its like last legs. But I did recently purchase over the last year an iPad, which has made mobile writing much more fun and much more fun and much more doable, which has really, really improved my progress. I am going to be doing a mobile writing blog post on my blogs about all the tools I use in mobile writing and creating digital art and all that stuff that I've been doing, because once I got mobile with my writing, it was so much easier to get my work done. So I used to be on paper, mostly now it's computer, but I still do notes on paper. I like the hands-on feel of things. So number 6, you are allowed to claim one work of fiction as your own. What is it? Oh my God, this is so hard. I either want it to be one of the Lord of the Rings books, which is insane because how dare I, or one of the Anne of Green Gables books, because again, how dare I, but I love their books. Their descriptions are so beautiful and I wish it was me. So those are the two. Let's see. 7, do you set goals? How? If so, how? I set goals. Whether I'm capable of keeping them is a whole nother issue. The kids' schedules tend to get in my way. I tend to say that a lot, but I also get in my own way. I get discouraged because I think I can't do this, but then I think that's the old you talking, and then I jump back in and I get back started, and I'm like, hey, this was really good. Why haven't I been working on it all the time? And so that is one of the major issues. I do set goals. I often fail them. My Kanban board is going to be empty soon because I need to reset my goals for the next quarter, and I am running behind on that as it is. So when I set goals this past year, I actually started keeping them, and that felt really good, even though I did get off track this summer when everything kind of went haywire with our schedule. And so the other main issue is that I think this coming year in 2020, I'm going to try like way harder to stick to the goals that I set, and also to pick reasonable goals with what I can accomplish with my schedule being so hectic. So that's goals. Number 8, this is a funny question. Boom, you win the Nobel Prize in Literature. What is it that got you the award? And I'm going to say that it is my series, the Ellyron series. I have really high hopes for this series, and I know I haven't shared much of it with you guys. It has been in my heart for years and years and years, and I am so excited for it to finally get into its finishing stages of plotting so that you guys can see the beauty that I see, because I swear to God, it is awesome. Please don't judge me for saying that. Okay. Number 9, boom, you're a Nobel-winning, I think they mean you're a Nobel-winning millionaire. Where do you live and what do you drive? Well, okay, so I live in, this is tricky. I have like 5 main places I want to live. I want to live by the water, because I'm a California girl. I want to live in Ireland. I want to live on Prince Edward Island. Hello, Anne of Green Gables. I want to live in the mountains. And I also want to live in my current town, because there's a really beautiful house here that's up in the kind of rich neighborhood that I wish I could adopt as my own. So any little house in any one of those locations would be perfect for me, as long as I have room for my 3 wild kids. So, and then what do you drive? Honestly, I'd be happy driving what I'm driving now, except for that it's covered in kid mess. So if I could drive a cleaner, newer version of what I have now, that'd be fine. Oh, I drive a CRV, which, you know, is fine for me. Number 10, and this is the last question. Boom, you're a writer in heaven. There are 5 writers in your writing group. Who are they and why? Okay, obviously, obviously, Margaret Mitchell. Obviously, Jane Austen. J.R. Tolkien. Beatrix Potter, because I love that she did her own art. That's awesome. The last one is tricky. I have so many more that I want to add. Pretty sure it's a children's book author. I'm going to leave that last spot open so that I could have a rotating weekly guest of any other author that wants to join. That makes me happy. All right, so those are the 10 questions for the In Practice and Theory Writing Authortube writing tag. So if you want to do this tag, go and do the questions, and it's really fun. And check out any of the other videos. I'm going to link them of some other videos where they did the author tag. And stick around and check out any more of my videos, and hopefully I will see you guys again really soon. Have a great one. Bye!